Okay, so UFC 137 going down this Saturday night. Main event BJ Penn versus Nick Diaz. Fights going down in Las Vegas in the Mandalay Bay. I'm here with my buddy Jose Carlos, and these are the fight picks for the main card. The first fight of the main card would be Jeff Curran versus Scott Jurgensen. I think Jeff Curran's trying to make his UFC comeback. He's only had one UFC fight. It was at lightweight against Matt Serra. He lost that fight. He's on the back line of his career right now, and I don't think Scott Jurgensen will be the guy that he makes a comeback with. Scott Jurgensen has very good hands, excellent wrestling. I think it's one of the best wrestlings at bantamweight, and I think Scott Jurgensen is just gonna take a unanimous decision. Curran's very tough to put away, so I don't think he will finish him, but he will land a lot of stand-up, a lot of ground and pound, takedowns at will, so he'll just take the unanimous decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, not only that, it's just a matchup where a veteran of the sport, Curran has been fighting since 1998, and Jorgensen has been fighting since 2006. So, you know, there's a very, very, very huge gap between experience between the two of the guys. But, you know, Jorgensen is just a better fighter. It's just a better fighter, and he's going to dictate where the fight goes. I think he's going to try to find out what Curran wants to do in the fight, and since Jorgensen is the better wrestler, he's going to dictate whether he wants to stand up with him or take him down. And whenever he can, he will take him down because he's a wrestler. So I'm taking this by unanimous decision, Scott Jorgensen.
Next fight of the night is Mirko Cro Cop versus Roy Nelson. I think Cro Cop is, again, another big-time veteran, a lot of experience, but also could be his swan song. I mean, he is on the last part of his career. A lot of people were thinking he was going to retire after his last fight. He's not only been losing a lot, but he's been getting knocked out. He's been getting finished. I do think if he loses this fight, he will retire after this fight. Obviously, great kickboxer, just not the same speed as he had before, not the same athleticism. Roy Nelson, even though he's a big guy, he's got excellent jiu-jitsu, very underrated wrestling, and he's got not exactly very technical stand-up, but a dynamite of a right hand. I think he will play with Cro Cop a little bit, wrestling, taking him down, doing a little stand-up, and I think eventually he will land a big right hand, and Cro Cop's chin just isn't there anymore. He's taking too much punishment, so I think Roy Nelson will put him away in the third round.
Well, as a huge Cro Cop fan, you know, it's been sad for me to see him getting knocked out so much lately, and the past fights I haven't been, you know, I've been conscious that Cro Cop didn't have the edge, but I honestly believe for this fight that Cro Cop will take this. I think he's faster than Roy Nelson. He's a better puncher, a better kicker. He has better stand-up. I don't think Roy Nelson's takedowns are good enough to take Cro Cop to the ground. Cro Cop has a very, very good sprawl and brawl. He hasn't been taken down that many times in the UFC. The previous fight with Brendan Schaub, Brendan managed to do it, but sometimes Cro Cop did get to defend plenty of takedowns. It's been hard to hold Cro Cop down, and I don't even think that Roy Nelson's going to be able to take him down, to be honest. I think Cro Cop is way faster, and I just think he's going to land the better strikes. He's going to be more accurate. He's going to be faster. He's going to be circling out as he always does, trying to counter. And I just think for this particular matchup that finally Cro Cop is going to get it. The only thing is that his chin has been tested. He's been knocked out like, wow, 4 or 5 times already.
Yeah,
and
lately.
And it's really tough. Roy Nelson packs a punch, so I'd give Roy Nelson the puncher's chance, but in theory I think not only that, Cro Cop is way more technical than Nelson, his strikes. So I think Cro Cop's got it in this one.
Okay. The next fight of the night, I think it's one of the most interesting matchups, seeing as it's Hatsuhikoki versus George Roop. I think that Hatsuhikoki is probably the best Japanese fighter right now in MMA. It's between him and Okami, but this guy, I mean, dream featherweight champion, TKO featherweight champion, which else TKO? Shuto featherweight champion. I mean, everywhere he's fought, he's won the championship. Excellent submissions, just very, very technical on the ground, very aggressive, type of a Shinya Aoki style, great wrestling. clinical stand-up, very big for the weight class, which is something we don't see a lot with Japanese fighters. He does know how to cut the weight, very long, lean. Kind of his style surprised me. The fact that he actually beat Marlon Sandro and beat him very, very, I wouldn't say easily, but very convincingly.
And Sandro's a tough guy.
And Sandro's a very tough guy. I mean, he just overwhelmed him in every area, in the stand-up and in the ground, which is not easy to do. I think Hatsuhioki, they're setting up George Roop as a stepping stone for Hioki. George Roop is a very good kickboxer, very good MMA fighter, and he has done the whole spoiler rule before. I mean, he spoiled that for
the Korean Zombie.
For the Korean Zombie, for Chang Sung Young, and he also spoiled the guy that was gonna fight for the featherweight title against Aldo. Forgot the guy's name right now. They call him the Fluke. So that was a pretty interesting sort of events that he actually was able to do that twice. He did get knocked out by against Josh Crispy. Yeah, he did beat Josh Crispy. But he did get knocked out by Mark Hominick, and I think that Hatsuhioki just has him beat in almost every area. I think he will take him down and he will submit him. If not in the first, I'm gonna go for a second round sub for Hioki.
I totally agree with what you say. I mean, Hioki is a hell of a fighter. He's way more experienced. George Roop has like barely 20 fights, and he's been struggling with name opponents even as of late. And Hioki's just in another level. I think this is the only mismatch of the card, to be honest. And I don't like to say that because most of the fights in the UFC are fairly contested.
Evenly.
Yeah, but in this time, Hioki has only lost by decision 3 times by split and 1 by unanimous.
And some of them were robberies too.
Yeah. None of the guys have been able to rock him, to knock him down, to knock him out, to submit him. Not even close. And the guy has like 24 fights and 4 losses.
Amazing fighter.
Is a hell of a record. He's very good on the ground. I mean, he's a beast right now. I think he's the contender for this weight division, and he's beat Mark Hominick twice too.
Yeah.
The guy is just, as they always says, the UFC getters or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna happen this time.
Not only that, we see a lot of great fighters that as soon as they come into the UFC, all of a sudden they're not that good. Maybe the competition level isn't as high, or the whole UFC jitters, but I don't think this will be the case. I mean, I'm saying it right now. Just as you said, he is a good contender. He's ranked number 3 in Sherdog right now, and I think by this time next year, we might see him fighting for a belt. So we'll just have to stay and see. Next fight of the night is Cheick Kongo versus Matt Mitrione. Also an interesting matchup. They're both pretty much strikers, but Kongo's way more seasoned than Mitrione. I mean, Cheick Kongo may not have so much experience in the MMA world, but he has a lot of experience in Muay Thai and Savate. Plus, he's just a very big guy, very strong, very powerful. I mean, that last fight against Pat Barry, that was just amazing. He was almost knocked out and then knocked Barry out with just one good uppercut. And not only that, but Matt Mitrione only has 5 MMA fights, but those 5 fights, he's just shown amazing improvement between all of them. He's probably one of the most athletic heavyweights out there, and he has dynamite in those hands. So I'm going to go for the upset here. I think Mitrione will win. I don't think he'll be able to finish Kongo, even though these two guys are very big and they're going to be throwing leather. I think he'll win by a unanimous decision. We've seen Kongo take a beating before, not only from the Pat Barry fight, but also even the Cain Velasquez fight.
Yeah.
So I just think they're going to slug it out, and I think Mitrione will just be faster and will land more. I think Mitrione will take a unanimous decision on this one.
Yeah, this is a tough fight. I mean, we know Cheick Kongo has resilience. We know he's tough. We know he has heart. He has been in dangerous positions before. He's fought elite strikers, Miracle back in the day, and he fought all the champions. He fought Cain Velasquez. He's fought them all. I mean, he's very seasoned, as he said before, and he's seen it all. I think the level of experience is ridiculous between the two guys. Matt Mitrione just started like 2 years ago MMA. But the thing is, like,
the Ultimate Fighter, yeah.
Yeah, particularly, I don't know how good Matt Mitrione is. Like, I've seen him fight this level of competition that's been fighting. I don't know how truly good Matt Mitrione is. He could be the next big thing. So I think this fight is going to prove that. I think this fight is going to tell us whether Matt Mitrione is, a contender level, or he's just going to be the gatekeeper of the division. I think that this fight will prove whether Matt Mitrione has got it, and I think that the level of experience in Cheick Kongo is just going to be overwhelming. I think not only that, I'm really impressed with Cheick Kongo's ground and pound and top control. I've seen the fights. I've seen some of the fights that Cheick Kongo faces a good striker, and he tends to take people down in those fights. He did it a couple of times, and his ground and pound is just brutal. It's probably one of the best in the heavyweight division, in my opinion. Not his grappling, just the damage, the angles, the way he can hit with the elbow, with the punches.
Coming down with the weight.
Yeah, and he uses that very well. And he's fought good grapplers too. So I think Cheick Kongo is definitely going to mix it. I think he's going to be smart about it.
You think so?
He was more about it in the previous
Montello fight.
Yeah, and he was more about it in other couple of fights too. He took it to the ground. And, I think he's going to take it to the ground for sure. I mean, Matt Mitrione's best chance so far, because, as I say, we don't know how good Matt Mitrione's ground game is yet. I think Cheick Kongo is going to take it down and probably, finish him by ground and pound. And, but it's still a tough call. It's still a tough call.